urgent military preparations are underway in Moscow. The strike will hit right at the center. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Armed Forces keep up the pressure. For the second night in a row, there have been powerful strikes on Russia. It's absolute hell over there. More details in the report.
An aerial truce between Ukraine and Russia. Bloomberg reports that Putin may make concessions to Trump and agree to an aerial truce, but without stopping the ground war, in order to prevent the threat of sanctions being imposed.
The Russian Federation has never kept its word. And expecting the Russians to keep it this time is definitely not worth it. The Russians have a huge number of options, even if they now make such a political move for Trump so that he doesn't impose sanctions and declare an aerial ceasefire, let's say a unilateral one, right? Well, for now. Then later, it will cost them absolutely nothing to stage a provocation and blame everything on Ukraine.
Meanwhile, Witkoff has already met with Putin. Their conversation lasted about 3 hours. And it is precisely based on the results of the meeting between Witkoff and Putin that Trump will decide whether to impose tariffs on Russia.
We'll see what happens.
The Financial Times also reports that Trump intends to impose sanctions on Russia's shadow fleet if Russia does not agree to a ceasefire. On top of that, the US president believes that lowering the price of Russian oil will also hurt Russia.
These secondary sanctions that Trump is essentially using to threaten Putin aren't particularly powerful, but they do cause serious damage to the economies of China and India. And, well, despite the fact that China is still the main geopolitical opponent of the US, there is a huge amount of American investment in China. Could this backfire and have certain political consequences for Trump himself? Of course, yes, it could.
What kind of sanctions are we talking about? Come on. Reuters reports that even these ultimatums from Trump can easily be ignored by Putin. After all, he is convinced that he can win the war and that new US sanctions will not have a significant impact on Russia.
Would the introduction of such sanctions by the United States and Europe potentially deal a blow to the Russian economy? Of course, yes, it would deal a very serious blow. And considering that oil revenues are still the absolutely key and most significant source of income for the Russian Federation, derived primarily from the extensive export of raw materials and various natural resources, in reality, in the immediate and foreseeable medium term, Russia is facing a very serious and profound economic crisis, quite possibly even a complete collapse and an inevitable default.
The White House has announced that Trump will deliver a speech today at 11:30 p.m. Kyiv time. The topic of the statement was not specified.
We all perfectly understand and are acutely aware that a great deal, indeed everything of critical importance, will depend entirely on the crucial information that Witkoff successfully brings back to us, and most essentially on the detailed and comprehensive nature of the conversation he has had and the insights he gains from it. What his conversation with Putin will be about?
Meanwhile, the Chinese Foreign Ministry has stated that a key moment has come for ending the war and that the negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are entering a decisive stage.
The Chinese side made this statement against the backdrop of contacts with Brazil. So, again, if you look at the full text of the statement, they recalled the group that was, if you remember, created on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, the Friends of Peace. And now, indeed, it seems to me that China may bring this peace plan back to the forefront together with Brazil against the backdrop of such serious pressure from Trump on the countries of the global south.
Meanwhile, the president of Ukraine reported that he had a productive conversation with the president of the United States on August 5th.
He is very well informed. He knows about the Russian strikes. He knows about the situation on the front, about the fact that the Russians are now trying to make their attacks more intense. We in Ukraine fully support the American proposal for an immediate ceasefire.
In addition, they discussed the defense agreement between Ukraine and the United States, specifically the draft agreement on drones, which has already been prepared by the Ukrainian side.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Russia is once again going all out. They released a new drone with anti-tank mines and thought they had taken control of the skies. But no, the Ukrainian Armed Forces found a super strong countermeasure. You have to see this beast. The Mongoose drone, followed by the Vector, are ready to literally tear apart all enemy targets and strike painfully right in the enemy's rear. The Kremlin is visibly nervous. What other combat birds are in our arsenal and what they can do, you'll find out right now.
Shaheds with anti-tank mines. This is how Russia has upgraded these strike UAVs, equipping them with cassettes containing PTM-3 anti-tank mines. It was exactly these drones that struck several regions of Ukraine on August 4th. This was reported by Ukrainian radio technology specialist Serhiy Flash Beskresnov on his social media.
Unfortunately, we have a new problem. Today, Shaheds were detected in several regions at once, each carrying 2 cassettes with PTM-3 anti-tank mines under their wings. This mine is equipped with a magnetic detonator and reacts to vehicles nearby. For now, the enemy's intention is unclear, what exactly they want to mine and why. It could be acts of terrorism on public roads or perhaps an attempt to target our agriculture.
Additionally, PTM-3 anti-tank mines, weighing 5 kilograms and capable of penetrating up to 60 millimeters of armor, have started to be mounted on Russian Lancet loitering munitions.
The use of PTM-3 solves several problems at once. First, it reduces costs and simplifies production. The mine is integrated into the drone without complex custom assembly. Second, it increases the reliability of striking targets. The ready-made munition is specifically designed to combat armored vehicles. Third, it eliminates production risks. A mass-produced engineering munition is easier to put into serial production.
The occupier's army wants to solve its shortage of Kaliber-type missiles by using Shaheds with jet propulsion. The main focus is on mass production and simplicity of UAV manufacturing, and small design modifications like installing anti-tank mines make these UAVs quite dangerous.
The main principle is a large number of aerial targets and a combined attack thanks to the introduction of the jet-powered Shahed, which in essence will be able to address the tasks that cruise missiles used to handle. In other words, these are higher speeds, a different interception principle and a different detection principle.
In turn, Ukrainian engineers have invented another effective way to shoot down Russian Shaheds, the Mongoose interceptor drone. This anti-aircraft drone is jet-powered, and it is not a kamikaze drone but rather reusable. It can reach speeds of up to 320 kilometers per hour, with a maximum flight altitude of 5,000 meters. Its operational range is 12 kilometers.
The Mongoose is a reusable drone with a jet engine and an automatic guidance system. According to the developer's concept, it will approach the Shaheds, fire a buckshot charge at the engine or propeller of the enemy drone, and then either continue its mission or return for refueling and reloading. Defender Media Publication.
The first squadron of these drones has already been created. Currently, the Mongooses are being actively delivered to the air defense missile brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. In addition to domestic developments, Ukraine has also successfully localized the production of German vector reconnaissance UAVs, which are being effectively used on the front lines. The military explains that the main advantage of these drones is their optics.
Switching to thermal mode. If the sun has warmed up, meaning it's already high enough above the horizon, the barrel of the cannon heats up and you can tell the difference. This is a very, very big advantage, that it's combined. If you need it, you switch. If not, you switch back. During the day, we switch to the camera and see that this warm spot is a cat. That is, from 800 meters, you can distinguish a cat and actually see it.
It's not just about defense and reconnaissance. Ukrainian drones are also delivering serious strikes to the enemy's rear. Moreover, domestic UAVs stand out not by quantity, but by quality. One of the latest strikes on Russia was at the Novokuybishevsk oil refinery. After the attack by Ukrainian drones, it ceased operations. And the Ryazan oil refinery has halved its output.
That's incredible. Our strikes deep in the rear of the Russian Federation, the drones that force Russia to go into blanket defense mode and close its airspace, are having an impact on Russia's economy and its capabilities. Therefore, from our considered point of view, we absolutely need to actively and significantly strengthen our overall capabilities when it comes to developing and deploying strike drones, not just creating advanced drones that can effectively bypass sophisticated electronic warfare systems and remain completely undetected by modern air defense networks, but also those that can reliably carry a substantial and impactful payload.
Thanks to advancements in UAV technology, Ukraine has been able to successfully hold back the aggressor and deliver effective strikes. For its part, Russia is also developing this sector quite successfully.